Hi, I'm Vin Scully. I think everybody in Hollywood thought they knew Tom Sherak. He was known by so many names. Mentor, godfather, salesman, president, humanitarian, czar, Dodger fan, coach, Thomas my love, daddy, papa, friend, and even Jedi Master.
If that speak, will you be able to pull out in time?
It'll be as easy as the opening of Home Alone.
The list goes on and on. But now that he's no longer with us, we yearn to know more about this unique man. He was that rare force in Hollywood, a magnet who drew people together and made them feel like they were a part of his family. Tom made us laugh.
An umbrella! Outside! We want you to be happy!
He inspired us to become as passionate as he was, whether it was about an upcoming movie, or a charity, or even a white lab. But where did Tom develop the qualities that made him such a respected leader and dear friend to so many? It's a part of the story that few of us know about, until now. It's time for the people who knew him the longest to finally get their chance to tell the rest of us what made Tom Tommy. And to do so, we're going back to where it all began, in a part of Brooklyn known as Sheepshead Bay, to hear from his old pals from grammar school and high school, Joey, Richie, Neil, and Mikey, and two of his closest friends from his Army days, Tom and Steve.
We all come from somewhere, don't we?
I think it was like a timeless moment when we lived in Brooklyn.
Brooklyn was a great place to grow up. It was the end of the 40s, into the 50s. All was well in the country. Guys were coming home from the war. You know, our parents getting back to a life. Our neighborhood consisted of about 6 blocks near Avenue Z and Coney Island Avenue. We went to PS 209. Half the guys that graduated there became wise guys or gangsters, and the other half went across the street to Hebrew school. And that was us.
This is the synagogue where we were all bar mitzvah from. Okay. And Tommy would have his lessons. The lessons were upstairs. The rabbi would open this window and yell out, "Sherak, Taub, come now!" Because who wanted to go to Hebrew school? We were playing ball.
What he would do is,
It was tough.
he would hold your hand like this, and when you would have to chant, if you didn't get the pitch right, he would squeeze your hand.
And I would hear Tommy going, "Baruch Atoing!"
And I knew Rabbi Tauber was giving him a zetz.
Our heart was in the schoolyard. If we were involved in a stickball game, it would be hard to go to class.
The common denominator, I think, for all of us, we played ball. So we all became baseball players and stickball players.
We had to come up with a strong name. We're known as...
We were the Dukes.
We were the Dukes.
You came home from school, changed your clothes, and you were out in the street. You walk over to the schoolyard, was right there.
Tom came to play ball with us.
He was not a bad athlete, but he really wasn't...
Tommy was, you know...
A little chubby guy.
A little pudgy.
At the time, a little pudgy.
Yeah.
Tommy was very straight and narrow. He never got in trouble. Can you ever remember? The only time he got in trouble was when he hung out with me.
No. Tom Sherak got in trouble when he shouldn't have gotten in trouble. Okay, I remember it was a rainy day, remember?
Yeah.
And we didn't know where to go to play. And we went down in the garage. And the only place that we could run was from car to car to car. And I remember jumping on a car one time and, boop, you know, the top of the car went down and...
We were just knuckleheads. We didn't mean to do damage.
And all of a sudden somebody comes down, spotted us. We ran out the other door. Tommy was the last to run out. He's the one they saw. Okay, because he was the slowest.
In his own defense, he said, I couldn't get up on the car.
This, which is now Eva's Pharmacy, used to be Goody's Luncheonette, which was really the center of our universe.
Goody's was a great job. Nobody could get that job. I mean, that really speaks well about Tommy.
He's the only one who worked of all of us.
It was a plum job. What did he actually do?
He was the counter guy, and he learned how to make an egg cream.
He made an egg cream?
Oh, he swore that he had the exact recipe to make the best Brooklyn egg cream. He claims there were 2 secrets. One, the ingredients, but also in the order in which you put it in. It was Foxy's You Bet, chocolate syrup, whole milk, and then the seltzer.
One was like a
spritz. 2.
You had to put the seltzer on a spoon.
Right.
And you started.
His claim to fame, with all of his accomplishments and achievements, I think the making of the egg cream, he would hold as his greatest accomplishment. Little things made him happy.
But I remember one trip. We went to Staten Island on the ferry going back towards Lower Manhattan. And I said, this is amazing. But I always remember what Tom said. He said, there's a whole other world out there. I remembered it had an impression on me.
We were in high school, and Tommy said, what should I take? I said, take typing. And he says, how come? I said, well, that's where all the girls are. I said, it's like heaven. So he did. He took typing, but he took typing to learn how to type, which I never understood. But when he was in the Army, I think that kept him out of the danger zone.
Wow.
Yeah, Steve, how did Tommy ever get out of going to Vietnam?
We worked for Continental Army headquarters, Fort Monroe, Virginia. Right. So you had to be able to send teletypes up to Washington, to the Pentagon. So if you typed, you were important. Right. And Tommy typed. I was born in Little Rock. How did Tommy explain Madeline to you?
Tommy said that she was a blind date, and he was supposed to go out with her sister, and he ended up going out with her. And I remember him telling me that when he came home to his mother and father, he said, Ma and Dad, I think I met the girl I'm going to marry.
Tommy was head over heels. He started off Thursday night by getting excited about that he was going home to see Madeline. He would go around just saying, hot dog, around. He'd be making his bed on Friday morning before he went away. Hot dog, hot dog. People thought that he just was so happy that it was Friday and they were saying hot dog. They didn't know that it meant that he was talking about Madeline, because Madeline's maiden name was Frankfurter.
Right, right.
He wound up working in the office where I worked. And our job was to find positions in different forts throughout the United States for people coming back from Vietnam. We were on the phone all day long, and you'd have to speak to people up in the Pentagon. And occasionally somebody would come over and say, listen, I need a favor. Can you get this person signed somewhere in the United States? They live in Minneapolis or something. That was their home. And so Tommy would take care of that. Tommy had a great way with the Pentagon. He'd do a joke for the guy, he'd tell him about his family, and then he would say, and by the way, can you get this done for me?
Well, he did a favor for me. In fact, when I finally came down on orders for Vietnam, Tommy got all upset, you know, that I was leaving. And so when I finally landed in Vietnam, I get stationed with this light infantry brigade, you know. All of a sudden, the company clerk says, Casal, pack your bags, you're going to UCV headquarters, which was air-conditioned buildings, running hot and cold water, flush toilets. And this guy says, I don't know who the hell you know, but I was told to make sure you get a good job here. You know, I played dumb, but I knew it was all thanks to Tommy, that's for sure.
We all know what happened next. Tom went Hollywood.
Holy cow!
It still amazes me, knowing him the way we knew him and where he grew to, you know, and what he became in the industry.
He found the ability to use his great skill, which was a great skill, of human relations, to his advantage.
He saw qualities in other people, and he would delegate responsibilities to make the team even stronger.
In the Army, he was on the phone, always talking to somebody.
Right.
When he went into the movie business, that was like the same thing. He wasn't a guy that could sit back and not communicate with people.
Right. He was telling me all the things that he's done and all that stuff, you know. I said, boy, you're really up there, aren't you? He said, don't start with that, don't go there. With all the success, it never went to his head.
Never forgot where he was from.
Even at the Academy Awards.
I'm a Brooklyn boy, and I still root for the Dodgers. So I know a thing or two about loyalty.
Being part of Brooklyn was great. Those fans there were loyal fans, and Tom was a fan.
55, I remember Tommy went crazy when they won the World Series, and he was heartbroken when they left.
If he wasn't doing film work, I think he would have given anything to be involved in Major League Baseball. So it was no surprise when there were little cards printed up by Ned Coletti calling Tom Sherak special assistant to the general manager.
Tom loved the ball club, and he was part of the ball club. Tom would talk to the players about how to conduct themselves. He told them about being outstanding people, show people what kind of class you have.
He didn't have to know you, but if he could reach out and make your life better, he would always do it.
He was that way since the third grade.
So Tom went Hollywood, but he also changed Hollywood. He made us all appreciate what we had and how much more we could do for others.
Strange, isn't it? Each man's life touches so many other lives.
And that is the sign of a true pioneer.
Let me read you what I wrote an hour after I heard of Tom's passing. I wrote, Tom Sherak will not pass unnoticed, for his legacy remains within each of us who knew his pure, giving, loving, beautiful soul. I knew him for 60 years, his simple ways, his emotions, his goals, from when he was 8 years old. I watched him grow from this nerdy, pudgy, red-cheeked, crew-cut, awkward little boy into this renowned, revered, loved, cherished, beautiful man. I have seen him grow into a man amongst men, a family man like no other. Tom loved his past, but loved more his present, for he lived each moment of his beautiful life. Tom Sherak, my friend, will be remembered in each of our hearts. I am honored to really, really have known Tom Sherak.
Steve, what do you say we toast Tom? Tom,
Okay.
to you, baby.
Tom.
Tommy Sherak. Tommy Sherak.
For this year's Will Rogers Motion Picture Pioneers Foundation Pioneer of the Year Award, we celebrate the incredible life of Tom Sherak.
Thank you. 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 I love you. I thank you from the very bottom of my heart.